or you could, that's on technology as a, an LED, so that's clearly a device, a high technology device. Thinking about another way, another thing that I do is I deliver a European program called Enterprise Europe Network Wales. So that is a program which is conceived of and controlled by the European Commission. And what they do is when you win the contract to deliver that program, as part of that, the European Commission give you a branding toolbox that you can use, so they give you colours and graphics, and they tell you how to lay materials out and how to present information and how to deliver the program. So they effectively, it's almost like a franchise. They give you a contract to deliver, and then they give you everything that you need in terms of visuals and approach and technique and all the materials that you need. They give you all that. So you can see, effectively, that's a license plus almost like a franchise kit to actually go out and deliver a service. So that's the other side of it. So we have, you could that's a form of technology transfer effectively, albeit not a device, an electronic device or a computerized device, but more of an idea of a piece of intellectual information, as it were, or a position that's being developed of credibility. So you can see how this can actually stretch quite wide, and you need to take a wide view, because otherwise you may not see all the opportunities within your business for this type of opportunity. If your business is in service delivery, then there can be IP there, there can be technology, for want of a better term there, which you could look for partners through this type of route. So that's why we very much want to consider this in terms of service as well as the obvious product when you talk about technology.
IP is
intellectual property.
Intellectual property.
Yes. Yeah, so we're just going back a step there, defining technology, and although I've covered this, I want you to have it in your slides there so that you've got it to refer to, long after you've forgotten what we've been saying here. So it's a novel aspect of what you do that could have commercial value to others, or in the converse, it could be something that others have that has got commercial value to you. So some of you I know are coming for a variety of reasons. Some of you already have great strong business ideas that you're looking to take on board. And so as we go on through this, and where idea screening that we've perhaps talked about to date in the previous session, indicate that you really have got something inventive, something new, something novel, and you strongly believe, increasingly believe, that there really is commercial value there, then it's quite likely that you have some IP or some technology, depending on how you wish to frame it. And so the things that we'll be talking about today could be relevant to you. Again, what I'm very conscious of is that this is an area in which you can quite rapidly get into a position where you need expert advice. You either need an IP attorney, or you need a contracts lawyer who knows, who is experienced in drawing up intellectual property or technology contracts. So you rapidly, if you decide this is something that you want to do, you rapidly get into the territory where you need a professional, dedicated specialist, professional idea. The purpose of today is not to even remotely attempt to replace or subsume what those companies or individuals can do for you. It's purely, again, a toolkit, as previously, to try to allow you to screen not only today's idea, but next month's, next year's great idea, so that you can look through this and say, there may be grounds here for a technology transfer or an intellectual property transfer mechanism, because it seems to fit with that area. So I've got the basis, the germ of an idea about how I might create value from this, and at that point then you can start talking to professionals, but at least you'll be talking you know, with you know, the basis of an idea about a way forward. And so that's what we're looking to do, is to give you a bit of a top-level toolbox, screening toolbox again, to allow you to hopefully at least discern which avenue might be an avenue worthy of exploration with experts in due course. So can anybody, I've got some on the next slide, but can anybody suggest any sort of local examples of technology? I'm going to grab that. So we've mentioned a very wide. We've mentioned a very wide description. Can you see that? Okay. Yeah, a very wide description of the type of IP or knowledge or whatever that we're talking about. Can anybody thinking about, you know, just Pembrokeshire, for example, or the region up to Swansea, let's say, can anybody think of any examples of technology that we could just scribble down just to help everybody to get a grasp of what we're talking about? Anybody come up with one?
Web design springs to mind. There's a printers in Plymouth Dock that is now expanding into web design from what they can do with their print outlays. They can print it on web.
Okay, now then, where's the kind of inventive step? Where's the novelty there?
It's more a progression of growth than something new, and I don't think there's anything new under the sun. It's just a matter of discovering it. Okay,
in that case, that it wouldn't really count as technology or IP, unless there's something very, very novel or creative that really nobody else has perhaps done before, or you know, an inventive step. If they were doing that, certainly created a particular benefit for a customer that no other web design company was offering, then you could argue that there could be something there. But it's really, you're looking for, it's that there's almost inevitably a uniqueness to this.
Pembrokeshire Engineering developed CamSeat, which was specific to Stadia and for television coverage, and they sold quite a lot of that development, that technology, to Sky and other overseas.
So that's a method of holding a broadcast video camera?
Yeah, and gives panoramic coverage while operating the camera.
Oh right, okay. So there's it's
CamSeat.
Cam.
Yeah, CAMSEAT. They're about 500 yards away.
Oh right, okay. So CamSeat. So that's a piece of it's a piece of hardware then. That is, it's a piece. Okay, so that's hardware. It's a sort of a mount or for.
It's so successful that whenever a football club or a rugby club or a national stadium would develop in their stadia, or redevelop in their stadia, they were instructed by the likes of BBC, Sky, NBC or whatever to install CamSeat because it was the best vehicle for hosting the cameras.
Okay, so where can anybody see, make an estimate of where there might be, you know, IP or technology in that, just from the very brief description Russell's given? Any ideas what could be, you know, what could be invented in there? Or
the design.
So the design. I mean, CamSeat sounds to me like it's probably a trademark or something like that. It's probably a registered trademark. So that's also IP. So that has fundamental value to the company, because the term CamSeat will be sort of becoming almost like the Hoover of the vacuum cleaner world to some extent. You know, it's developing a fundamental value almost of its own. It brings with it a perception of value and capability. So there's some IP there, or some technology there, whichever way you want to frame it. So we've got the basis of the design, which is probably, you know, provides it's probably a very sophisticated design uses, you know, probably motors and maybe hydraulics and, you know, a number of things, probably vibration isolation nice stable picture even while you're panning the camera. So it probably creates, on a small level, there's probably lots and lots of details of engineering, some of which they might have half a dozen patents in there, you never know, or even some trade secrets. If there is something which isn't easy to reproduce, there may be the odd trade secret in there.